All right, so this week we are exiting the ideal relationship, the one that's inside of our head.
All right.
Okay. So, first love. What was your ideal relationship?
I don't think that I had an ideal of what that first love would be because I never really knew what an ideal relationship was. I didn't grow up in that nuclear family idea of mom, dad, whatever. It was me and my mom, and that's all, So ideal relationship with my first love, it was almost survival, and just let's get it how we live.
Okay. So you didn't have an idea. When did you start kind of going on this journey of self-discovery of your sexuality?
I think I've always been open, sexuality wise. Well, I never really liked girls. I had one crush, and that was Pam from Total. And I just looked at, y'all remember, Pam from Total.
The girl group.
Yes, okay. Yes, back in the day, 94, that was Keisha, Pam, and I don't know who the girl was because she was irrelevant.
And Pam was the masculine one.
Pam was the masculine one. And when I would look at her, I get a little tangle. I'd be like, okay, Pam.
A little what?
A little tangle.
Okay, all right.
Pam did a little something for me. I don't know what that was. But, so I entered into the heterosexual relationship, as everybody does in that time frame. And I dated guys. I dated a lot of guys. I dated a whole bunch of guys.
I remember.
Now slow down.
Okay.
But that's because, and not saying that I did it because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. I did it because I liked doing that, right?
Yes, you like guys.
Okay. So then whenever I got married, I met my guy, we got married, did the whole thing. And then when things began to not work the way that I thought that they should in a marriage, my person came along and pretty much filled that space that I thought that I needed. So it didn't matter that it didn't look like what I thought the idea should be, that it wasn't a man. It was what I needed at that time to feel like I wanted to feel. And that's what my partner did for me.
So I'm going to go off script.
Oh, shit.
I've known you your whole life. Mm-hmm. Never known you to like women. Growing up. You know how some people say, I was born this way? Mm-hmm. Do you think you were born this way? Mm-mm. Or something happened?
Nothing traumatic happened.
Okay.
I fell in love with a woman. I just exited my marriage. Well, okay, I was still in the marriage. It was like a halfway exit.
Okay. TMI. Go ahead.
Okay. This is my story, right?
This is your story.
We were still married whenever I met my person, but I had exited emotionally, mentally. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so for me to exit my marriage would have seemed like I was a failure in that sense. So I stayed in it to keep the image up a little bit in a sense.
So speaking of loved ones, how did you come up with the courage to tell your husband, to tell your kids, to tell your mother you were changing?
I'm not a person who is good with confrontation. I couldn't hold my own secret any longer. So I just said it. I told on myself. I told him.
Okay.
And so I was not given the opportunity to do it in the way, deliver that conversation the way I thought that I wanted to those loved ones because I was outed.
So how did you navigate that?
It was tough.
Emotionally.
It was tough because it was now mom's the bad guy, right? So I saw this meme this week and it says, man can cheat 3,486 times and it's okay.
He can what?
Cheat. But a woman does it one time and it's like...
it erases all the bad.
Or it's like the end of the world. But yet I'm the one that gets this image. And it's also because it's with a woman.
Yeah. Double whammy.
Double whammy.
And what did you say to your kids?
At the time, my daughter was 13. My son was, I think, 8 or 9. I don't know. I don't think I said anything to them. I didn't sit down and have a conversation.
So y'all never had that conversation?
I mean, we have now that they're older, right? But as far as sitting them down at that age
and not having the conversation, it's tough.
Because I didn't know how to. What am I going to say? what am I going to say? Right? Like, I was in a place of, I was falling in love. I had fallen in love, and it was a great place for me to be in. And I felt so giddy and so filled with all this love for this person. And it was like, and then all of a sudden it just comes crashing down. And now you have to have a conversation with some kids about being in a relationship with the woman when you had always been with their daddy. And that would have been hard if I had to have it with me leaving dad for
another man.
Yeah. Right. So now, not the fact that mama not only in her broke up the family, you know, now she's with a woman. Now daddy is sad. Now, you know, it's like, I didn't know what to say. And I still feel a little bit of that guilt sometimes because I don't feel like I explained things to them the way that I feel like I should.
You didn't know how.
I didn't have the words to.
You didn't have so that's a great segue to just traditional societal norms. What have you learned being on this journey of, how do you even want me to label this? LGBTQ? Like, I feel uncomfortable putting those kind of labels on it. So how do y'all refer to this type of love?
It's love.
Okay.
That's it, right? It's not a lesbian love. It's not a rainbow love. It's not the pride love, or we love each other more in June because it's Pride Month or whatever. You know, it's not that. It's just love.
Yeah.
People ask me, are you a lesbian? I mean, you say, you know, if you say that a woman and a woman being together is lesbian, then in your eyes, I guess I am a woman who fell in love with a woman. I don't label myself as a lesbian, you know, so, and that's not a knock on the LGBTQ community. I just don't put labels on myself.
Yeah. It makes it weird when we're calling it something. At least for me, it makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
Labeling it.
Right. I think labels make people feel, it makes other people feel comfortable.
Like when we see a black and a white person together, or different nationalities in marriages and relationships together, we don't say they're in an interracial relationship anymore. We don't say that anymore. We drop that.
Right.
And so that's kind of the same way. Like, why do we label it still?
And I think it's because people are uncomfortable because when you think about a homosexual versus a heterosexual relationship, when you think about heterosexual, you don't think about the act of sex. When people hear homosexual relationship, that's the first thing they go to is the act of it, right?
Yes,
and I've been asked so many questions like, well, who's the man and who's the woman? Or can we watch? Or who's the top and who's the bottom? Like, would you ask a heterosexual couple that? So why do people feel comfortable asking me about that, you know, me that for my partner and I? Like, it's like some weird fetish or some weird kink.
Yeah.
You can carry your ass to Pornhub and watch that shit all you want. But this ain't how we getting down over here, you know. But people,
they immediately go to the sexual
part. Right.
Last question.
Okay.
Personal. You and I have been best friends for a long time. When you first started going down this journey of being in a relationship with a woman, I felt like you withdrew yourself from our friendship intentionally.
Okay.
And we've talked about this. I'm like, you stopped inviting me to things. You come to Houston and not even say you were in town. And I feel like you was withdrawing from one world because you are now navigating a new world.
That could be very well true. That could be part of the truth, but also too, the world that you guys still lived in also still included my ex-husband and his currently his wife, right? And that was uncomfortable for me because y'all knew us as a unit. And this was probably our first time that I can think of a couple breaking up, a couple getting divorced, and we're bringing in these new people, right? You know, when you're in a lesbian relationship, a lot of times the lesbian community is super tight. They can either be real catty but you're insulated. I knew that you guys wouldn't feel comfortable being around a bunch of lesbians all the time, especially bringing your husbands too. Like, for instance, case in point, when I had my sneaker party in Dallas for my birthday.
Oh yeah.
Right? I invited all of you guys because you guys said I don't invite y'all to anything. Well, you know, I do, but you always out the country half the time and everybody else had things going on. But when you guys did come, you didn't bring your spouses.
Were they with us?
I don't know. But when I invite you, I'm not inviting you. I'm inviting you and your spouse, right? Same with our other friends. I'm inviting them to come. Like, it's like you guys are one. But I've heard from one of our close friends is that my man don't want to be around all them lesbians. Why? They don't want them. You know, it's like, so again, that level of uncomfortability. So why would I want to continue to invite people to things when you've already voiced and told me that you don't feel comfortable being around my friends because of who they love?
So I don't remember. I remember coming to that party, and I remember it being like a girls thing. That's what I remember. Like, oh, we about to go kick it with the girls.
Okay.
And then y'all weren't really partying. It was like a kickback.
Yeah.
And we were like, damn. We was ready to like
turn up.
Yeah. So that's what I remember. I don't remember the husbands being invited.
You know, and it could have been maybe he wasn't in town.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. You know.
So there was subliminal messages that you were interpreting that I didn't realize were being relayed, as in we don't want to be around it, when I'm like, why you don't want to be around, why you don't want me to be around it? Right? I'm the opposite. Like, why you not inviting me? I don't care who they are, who you with.
Right.
It doesn't matter. We've known each other our whole lives.
Right. So it wasn't an intentional elimination of your friendship, but it was, and we were in different times of our lives too, you know?
Yeah.
Your boys was doing all your things, my kids were doing their things. It was just a different time in our lives that we just didn't connect the way that we used to during those seasons, right? Yeah.
All right, last question. What advice would you give someone who
live your life for you? Just do what makes you happy and live your life for you. Don't worry about what others think, what the noise is behind you, what people are saying, what you think somebody may say, what your mama may say, and because everybody got their own shit that they going through, and you're the only one that can make you happy.